I'm here to talk to you about housing affordability. Now, if you talk to some people, they'll tell you we have a housing affordability crisis. If you talk to other people, they'll tell you we have a great opportunity for people to buy in this market because rates just came down. So you have people in different camps. You also have people that'll tell you that it's just unaffordable, whether you're talking about housing or paying rent. Everything's unaffordable. Everything's too high. Well, I want to break all that down with you here in this video because the only thing that anyone's been talking about this week was the Federal Reserve chopping interest rates. Now, the Federal Reserve chopped interest rates by a half a point. Now, that's the Fed fund rate, okay? That's not mortgage interest rates. That's the rate that banks borrow money so they can lend you money. Now, that is not the same as your mortgage interest rate. I asked a lender earlier today, where exactly are rates for somebody with the absolute best credit, best situation on a government program like an FHA loan? And they told me that rates are in the exact same place that they were last week. So you can see that even with the Fed lowering rates, it didn't necessarily mean that mortgage rates dropped dramatically. Now, will there be a lag effect? Will rates go lower? Will they trend lower? Most likely. And with further rate cuts like what they're talking about, we're going to see rates drop even further than that. But they were already good last week. Last week, we had people between 5.5% and 5.75% on FHA loans, and they're in the same place and they're going to be trending downward. So for people that are thinking about housing affordability, you say rates are coming down. That's got to be great for people buying homes. That's got to be great for people who own homes, save money on your car loans, save money on your credit cards. And that, of course, is good for all consumers. That's good for affordability across the board. Now, we may be looking at further rate cuts throughout this year and in the beginning of next year, which will only improve conditions for people in regards to housing affordability. But let's talk about something else. It's not just about interest rates here. We have to look at inflation. Our inflation rate has been way, way, way too high, and everybody feels that. But now it's been trending in a direction that's a little more comfortable for the Federal Reserve, so they're finally lowering interest rates. Now, what does that actually mean? It only means that inflation is slowing. Prices are only now not increasing as fast. It doesn't mean that things are going backwards. So think about that. Everybody has felt the pain at the grocery store, at the gas pump, and you hear inflation is slowing. And most people think to themselves, well, great, that means prices are going to start going down. No, it just means that prices aren't going to continue to go up as fast. Now, you may ask, why do I bring up inflation? I'm in the trenches with people every day who are trying to figure out what exactly is the best decision for them to make in regards to what a home purchase looks like for them, what they can actually afford. So these people have to take into consideration, what do your bills look like? What are your bills gonna look like when you're in this house? And inflation has a big, big role in the decision that they make. And I don't mean to sound gloom or doom or anything like that. Listen, the cost of living is gonna be the cost of living. But everybody feels this. Everybody feels how much more expensive things have gotten. So is it good that inflation is cooling a little bit? Absolutely. It's good because it brought interest rates down also, but it's good because things are slowing down a little bit. But you have to remember, on the other end of that, if we're to lower interest rates way too fast, inflation may just shoot right back up and start affecting people even worse than it is right now. We don't need to see inflation ever at something like 7, 8, 9%, like what we saw before. So when you look at housing affordability, you have two things here that we're talking about. We have rate cuts over here, which make things so much better for buyers. Now they can get back into the market. They can go and buy the house they've been looking at for the past year or two. But on the other side of that, prices are still increasing. Things are still tightening up. So them rate cuts become a little less significant when you really break it down. You got two things here, but now let's talk about the third. The third part is we have a lack of savings here. And a lack of savings is a big part of a home affordability problem. When you're talking about being able to buy a home and afford a home, what are we talking about? We're talking about literally going and purchasing a new house. And to do that, you have to put about 3.5% down minimum. And when people hear that, alarm bells ring off and they say, housing is not affordable to me because I don't have 20 G's to put down on this transaction. And honestly, people don't have the savings in this country right now to support down payments like that. Most people, when polled, don't have 1 month of an emergency put away for anything. If anything blew up, they couldn't cover a month's worth of bills. Now, 20 grand is probably about 4 or 5 months worth of bills for some people. So is that a real problem? Absolutely. I can't sugarcoat it. If you don't have savings, it's going to be difficult to buy a house. Now, look, there are down payment assistance programs that'll provide you with the down payment funds to buy your house. There are things like that that exist pretty much in every single state. But I know here in Maryland, we have the Maryland Mortgage Program, and there are all type of other bank programs that people have to give you down payment assistance. So that's one concern as far as housing affordability, not being able to come up with the down payment. There's stuff out there to help you with that, but you still have to question to yourself, honestly, if you don't have at least a month, 2 months, 3 months in the bank, are you really in the position to buy a house at this time? I think that's something that if you're in that position, you have to check yourself and say, listen, I have to aspire to put this extra money in the bank so we can actually be comfortable when we buy this house. The last thing that I would ever want is for one of my clients to buy a house and then 6 to 12 months down the road realize that they cannot afford to live in that house and then face a situation where they have to get rid of that house. That would be the nightmare scenario. And it can all be avoided up front. But these are conversations that we need to have. Every real estate agent needs to have these conversations with their clients because it's important. Is this house going to be affordable for you? Can you afford this monthly payment? Can you afford these energy costs, these grocery bills, etc.? The good news is simple budgeting will answer this question for you. Break it down. Break down your monthly costs. Put it in a spreadsheet. Look at exactly what your expenses are going to be. Look at what your new mortgage payment is going to be and figure out how much monthly payment could I possibly afford for my next house. And you break that down with your mortgage professional and they're going to put you at a number that you're going to be comfortable with. And that's going to tell you exactly what level you should be shopping at. Now, listen, if you don't have the savings in the bank, you can always continue to pound away savings and do whatever you can do to put that nest egg away. There are also ways that you can get that money, like I talked about before, like down payment assistance. So overall, with housing affordability, it's different for everybody. Everybody's going to have a different take on it. There's somebody out here right now that's going to say, hey, rates are coming down. This is the absolute best time to buy because they know home prices are going to continue to go up like they have over the past couple years. If you look at what home prices have done over the past 4 years, it'll tell you that these prices have skyrocketed. And that's part of the reason that a lot of people are sitting here saying housing's not affordable. Because when rates dropped real low, home prices started shooting up consistently year over year over year. And a lot of people are saying, hey, if the rates are low, now's a great time to take advantage. I completely understand that rationale, and I don't think they're wrong. But I also understand that there are a lot of people that aren't in the position to just go in and buy right now because it's going to overwhelm them financially. And that is very, very important that they don't make the wrong decision and that they don't go and buy a house that's going to flip their boat upside down. You got to always make sure that you're comfortable. You have to make sure that you are never going to put yourself in a bad situation. But when you work with the right type of real estate agent like myself, you're always going to make sure that you're guided through the process the right way to make sure you're protected. I'm Dino the Realtor. Give me a call on this number anytime. I'd love to share any of the knowledge that I've built over this 20-year period of time doing this with anybody that'd love to give me a call. I hope you found all this to be valuable. Please take a second to like the video, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. I really appreciate it. Last week, the comments were kind of what inspired this because I had some people telling me, hey, why would people buy houses now when it's completely unaffordable and the prices are all jacked up? And it gave me a second to think about it and say, listen, you're 100% right. There are some places that home values are way too high based on the income level in them communities, and it makes housing completely unaffordable for almost everybody. And you're right. And that's why I break down the situation to say everybody's situation is different. Opportunities are out there for some people to take advantage of right now because we're in a situation of better interest rates. But listen, the market is going to be the market. Nobody has a crystal ball to what's going to happen in the market. But all you can do is this. You can always look at the trends. You can always look at the way the market has reacted in the past. And what I have to say about that is it's always a good time to buy because real estate always rebounds. And I know that's controversial. I know some people are predicting a market crash and things like that. But at the end of the day, real estate has always been a stable investment for people. So please drop your comments. Let me know what you think about all that. I'd love to talk to you. Talk to you next time.